Hey everyone, welcome to Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Now before we dive into this Scream 5 update, please smash that thumbs up button on this video, as it really does help the channel, and it helps other Scream fans find this update. And if you have not yet subscribed to the channel and joined the party, what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button and bell icon to ensure you'll be notified the moment I post all future Scream 5 and other horror movie content that is in the works. Okay everyone, in this video I'm going to discuss a recent article I read on Cinema Blend that highlighted part of the Total Film magazine interview with Tyler Gillett from Radio Silence, who is co-directing Scream 5, where he shares some very revealing information about the possibility or not of us seeing a Scream 6 and future Scream films in general. So let's get started. In this article, we see the headline, "Could Scream 5 launch more sequels in the iconic horror franchise?" Here's what the co-director says, and this is followed with the next set of verbiage here. "While there's nothing set in stone, there are some clues that we can draw from. The newest chapter is called Scream, though it's more of a reboot of the franchise than a remake of the original film, which could hint at more to come." Then there's co-director Tyler Gillett, who told Cinema Blend's sister site Total Film that he can foresee more installments to the franchise. Now here's where we get into Tyler's comments on the future of Scream after Scream 5. "This new cast of characters is so wonderful. The legacy cast, they're so wonderful. I think what we discovered and what screenwriters Guy Busick and James Vanderbilt did is they found a real reason for the next story to exist. We know that there is more gas in the tank. There are more stories to be told in Woodsboro and about these characters for sure." So this is very exciting news, and it's so great that Tyler shared this information, which in my opinion, it's very honest and frankly very forthcoming on his part as well. I mean, usually film directors and writers and producers of a film that has not been released, especially, they're very careful about making these type of statements that be that can be considered like, assumptive on their part of a film's success. Normally, you would hear something like him saying, "Well, if people enjoy the movie and there is a desire to see more, then we will certainly cross that bridge when we get there." That kind of a comment, but that's not what happened here at all. I mean, Tyler really came out and just was very open with it and very transparent, and reveals that the writers already have a real reason, quote, for the next story to exist. And moreover, that there's not only more gas in the tank, but I love how he says, there's more stories to be told in Woodsboro about the surviving characters of Scream 5. Now, whoever they may be, we'll have to wait and see. But that means if Sam does not turn out to be the new final girl, then there'll be other characters for Woodsboro that will be. Or if Sam does turn out to be the new final girl, then her story, it looks like, will continue into Scream 6. And the fact that he included the statement about the surviving characters, that tells us that the future of the Scream franchise will continue in the same vein as Wes Craven did in the first 4 films, I believe, by following the same characters into the sequels. Now, the storylines are going to be, of course, different, but the model's the same. We're going to follow Sam, or we're going to follow Wes, or we're going to follow Mindy. One or more of these surviving characters, whoever is going to be the final person, whoever that is, their storyline is going to be the central focus that will continue after Scream 5. And you notice he says it's that it stays in Woodsboro, that there's more to tell in Woodsboro. So, the previous 4 Scream films, at least the first 3, only had Woodsboro in Scream 1, right? And then we had in Ohio at Windsor College in 2, and in Hollywood in 3. And then finally, of course, in 4, they did come back to Woodsboro. But point is, this is interesting because there's so many things here that we could kind of speculate on. But the bottom line is this: there are going to be characters that are going to live, so it's not going to be a complete bloodbath, where they just wipe everybody out and say bye to Sidney and we start over in Scream 6. No, it's going to be kind of what we expected. There is going to be continuation of characters. Now we know for sure that will be the case. So it really comes down to what I consider to be two really big questions now. And the first one is, will Scream 5 reach the box office sales numbers that Spyglass and Paramount Studios are expecting in order to call this movie a box office success, and thus get the official green light for Scream 6 to be made? Remember, you can have ideas and you can have outlines written, but until the studio green lights it, then that's all it is. It's just ideas. So we do not know what the forecasted box office sales are for this movie by Paramount. So we're gonna have to hold our breath and hope that everyone will go see this movie in theaters and the sales targets will be met. Because remember, I hate to bring it up, but Scream 4 only brought in $40 million in the US and Canada box offices combined, and it had a budget of $40 million. Now, with the international box office sales, it did total just under $100 million, but studios typically gauge success of a film by the North American ticket sales. And unfortunately, Scream 4 only broke even in that category, and thus we never got the new trilogy that Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson had planned for Scream 5 and 6. It was going to be a new trilogy back in 2011 that was going to start with Scream 4. Now, the studio, I believe, had a great hand in the lack of success of that movie. I have a lot of things I could talk to you about that, but I'm going to save that for another video. But for Scream 5, right, back to comparing the first films. The first three films, for example, all grossed over $100 million in the North American box office alone. So for this upcoming Scream 5 film, I believe it basically needs to hit around that number in order for it to secure a sixth Scream movie. Now, with the current situation regarding people still being reluctant to go out in full capacity in public, hey, that maybe there's a lower number that the studio will accept than $100 million. But for me, that's the number that would make me, and I think you as well, feel really comfortable about that a Scream 6 will be made and given a thumbs up to make. Now, the second question is, will any of the OG3 return for Scream 6? And we just don't know how they're going to end this movie with regards to the OG3. Now, they may very well write the ending of their respective stories in this movie, and whoever is not killed will go on to live, happily ever after, and Scream 6 will be set up for the young surviving cast members to return and continue their story in Woodsboro. We will just have to wait and see. My hope is that the surviving OG3 can be convinced to return once more in Scream 6, and then at that point, I would fully expect them to be fair game, even Sidney, who could possibly be killed off in the sixth film. Because if they're not going to write them off with a proper send-off and a happy ending, then the alternative is that they're going to have to kill them at some point. The only other option I can think of is that, one of them dies of natural causes, like maybe has a heart attack or something in the movie, just something along those lines that would be sparing them from being killed, but nevertheless, they don't survive the movie, something like that. But we can talk more about that after we see Scream 5 and see how they're going to stage and set up the OG3 or whoever's left of the OG3 to continue on potentially from that point. But one thing is certain in all of this: in addition to Scream 5, Radio Silence and the writing team have more in store for us as Scream fans, and they need us to pull through for them and show up on January 14th to see this movie. So, the moment tickets go on sale in your area, make sure you buy your tickets for the first possible showing that you can attend on opening day and opening weekend. And after you do that, go ahead and buy a ticket for another showing on opening weekend so you can see it twice and really catch all of the tons of Easter eggs that Radio Silence has put into this movie. And really, a Scream film, you really should watch it 2 or 3 times just to really get a full appreciation, I think, of what's happening in these films anyway. So let's do it on opening weekend. Let's come together as Scream Nation. And if we do this, I really have no doubt in my mind that Scream 5 will blow away the studio targets, and we will definitely get Scream 6. All right, guys, that's everything I wanted to cover in this video. But as always, I want to begin a discussion with you in the comments section below right now. What do you think about Tyler's comments about the potential future of the Scream franchise? I want to hear your opinions, your thoughts, your ideas, and theories. So go ahead and start leaving your comments below right now so we can discuss it together. I do look forward to hearing from you. And I'll be back soon with more Scream and other horror movie content. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, this is Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Thank you for watching.